Look at me, I'm
Now, imagine this. It's April 25th, 2021. You're doing what you do best on Twitter and argue with everybody, because that's what everyone does. But that's until a notification pops up. It's from Paco. It's a video called Exposing SPACEUK'S. So you watch it, and after watching the entire thing, you are thinking there's no way he is a hacker just based off frames. But as more and more evidence start popping up, including a second click, which must have been a macro, and even a modification in the text completion screen being smaller by 940 pixels, you start to be on a different side now. That's everyone. SPACEUK'S has been lying to everyone for the past 2 years. Everything from him verifying Slaughterhouse, the former top 1 demon, from completing the entire main list, to robbing everyone of the best Geometry Dash player titles. SPACEUK'S has negatively impacted the Geometry Dash community in countless ways. But that was not until June 24th of 2024, when a Daily Dose of Geometry Dash uploads a video named The New Comeback of SPACEUK'S. You may be thinking he might be pulling an Andromeda with this one. But then that's not until the comments start feeling up. They're telling him to quit, they're telling him to be banned, to never be shown on the face of the earth at all. And this was all met with other backlash from the backlash, saying he can do what he wants. He's not a top player, isn't he? But then this begs the question, should we welcome back SPACEUK'S? Well, the answer seems very obvious. Hello, my name is Abhijan, and today we'll be diving through how SPACEUK'S, although hacking for the past 2 years, returns with more backlash on his hands. And with that comes 3 different arguments for this. Well, for one, he basically created a sense of distrust in the community. Second, he robbed countless top players of their top 1 positions. And third off, it pretty much exposes how the demon lists have their biases towards their own people. And another argument is why is it significant in the first place? Now, when SPACEUK'S was first exposed, everyone was just divided. Some people think he was hacking, some people think he wasn't. But then as soon as more and more people start coming out with their own evidence, those who thought he wasn't hacking were on one side now. Basically, Space left the community in a sense of distrust. Many top players such as Zoink, they could have been a hacker, or they could have not, which was later to be cleared as they are not a hacker. But some other people, such as Paco, the same person who has exposed Space in the first place, was thought to be a hacker. But this was until it was debunked to be faked. But not only that, the only reason why people thought everyone else was a hacker was because of how Space impacted this community. The way he hacked every single top 1, the way he pretty much stole every single top 1 by being the first victor, the way he made money off of it. Okay, pretty much everyone was left in a sense of distrust, and this was only because of Space. Literally, you can see his best achievements, Akron, Slaughterhouse, Firework, all of that, etc, etc. All of those account to the amount of distrust everyone had. For example, imagine your favorite Geometry Dash player, who was also a top 1 player at that time, to be found out as a cheater. You'll be totally bummed out, right? This is how everyone felt. Everyone who thought he was an inspiration felt betrayed. So basically, he ended up leaving this community. He left without a trace. He deleted everything from his YouTube to his Twitter, all of that. But luckily a few channels just ended up archiving his videos, so we still have a piece of history. Even Ice Cave, the creator of the former top 1 Slaughterhouse, has opened up to it. He left that video of SPACEUK'S verifying open for a bit of history. But until then, it was Doggy, another top player, to have been the actual verifier of Slaughterhouse. But then ultimately, after what SPACEUK'S has done, he's practically left the community in a sense of distrust. and through all of these points, such as robbing every single top 1 that has been made, stealing first victor of every top 1, and apparently lying about completing the entire main list, it was pretty obvious that Space basically left the community in a sense of distrust. Another thing that's worth mentioning is that he robbed every single top player's chance of being the best player. Now, throughout Geometry Dash's history, many people have been trying to compete with each other to become the number 1 player, as this will give them much more recognition in the community. A notable example is the Riot versus Cyclic rivalry. They've been competing with each other, trying to complete levels harder than the other, in order to gain recognition and fame. This is the exact same thing when Cyclic was outed as a hacker. SPACEUK'S also got outed as a hacker. However, the only difference is that rather than just 2 people competing with each other, it's multiple people competing with each other for the number 1 spot. SPACEUK'S ended up cheating almost everyone, including those top players. This led to some of them to just lose motivation or even quit the game. Notable figures such as FMN04 have commented about the fact that Crisis, who was a top player, but also SPACEUK'S friend, he was a number 2 player. However, he didn't mind that because they were friends. However, as SPACEUK'S beaten levels faster than him, he started to lose motivation and his dreams of becoming a top 1 player started to dwindle down. In the end, SPACEUK'S ended up cheating almost everyone, but not only that, he also broken a lot of friendships along the way. Now, to those who believe that this is insignificant, let me talk to you about why this was significant in the first place. So, right after SPACEUK'S got exposed, he took to Twitter to confess about what he did. Later, the Demon List moderators discovered that he cheated every single level, including the former top 1 Slaughterhouse, through botted completions with the exploit Zebot. Basically, the creator also made it so that the text completion screen is slightly modified to be smaller. This came down from 1004 pixels to just 940 pixels. But no one noticed that, so no one really knew about it. So now, whilst this was common in showcases, since people don't want to suffer through the level themselves, SPACEUK'S just decided to take the short route and grab quick fame. But with that, lots of consequences. Not only that, he was registered on the Demon List, so therefore he's been submitting raw footage of him hacking every single level, and basically fooled the entire community for the past 2 years. And another thing to mention is that MSG, a person who completed Silent Club supposedly, has hacked it. But without that, the Demon List moderators wouldn't even check SPACEUK'S records, or even his raw footage. Therefore, SPACEUK'S would have not been exposed in the first place, which says a lot about the Demon List itself. However, it also goes to show that some people clearly show their biases, and by that I mean the Demon List. So when the 3 demons, Arcturus, Firework and Slaughterhouse were raided, Firework was initially number 1 for 18 seconds. However, due to SPACEUK'S being the top player at that time, his influence pretty much garnered the attention of the Demon List, which would then move Firework down to 2nd place, and Slaughterhouse pretty much putting up into 1st. But this didn't stop there. Due to SPACEUK'S influence, and considering the fact that he completed many demons, his opinion was pretty much the first priority. So basically, levels such as Hard Machine were lowered than what they were supposed to be. But not only that, Colo, the first person who initially exposed Space, was met with backlash with his first exposal. Even though his evidence was ahead of its time, the Demon List response was, "You are wrong." He was met with lots of community backlash. This basically goes to show the sheer influence SPACEUK'S has on many people, which includes the Demon List, and which will also lead to the Demon List's small backlash. Now, with all of that in mind, should the Geometry Dash community welcome back SPACEUK'S? Well, the answer is simple: no. Pretty much due to his past, such as robbing countless top 1s of the top 1 position, and pretty much robbing every player of the top 1 position, and not only that, pretty much giving the community a sense of distrust, and pretty much pointing fingers at other top players. He should not be welcome and might as well just quit.